Okay. We have now Tier 2, Dark Urge. Tier 2, Briv. We're not going near those. Tier 1, Light in the Darkness for Dhadius. Dhadius just wants to be the light in your darkness. How are we going to do this? I think we're going to use more of a this. Maybe? Or maybe this. Like this? This is probably it. This is probably it. We'll find out. 125. Yeah, so the thing with reforging is that you really right now with the way the cost continues to ramp up, it starts out at like 1,000, and then you reforge, and it goes up to 2,000, and then slowly it ticks down over time. So what you want to do is, once it is 1,000, reforge, and then wait a week, and the cost drops back down to 1,000, and then reforge, and then wait a week, and the cost drops back to that. So if you're over 2,000, if you've been reforging, stop for a good while. It's better to forge a new item on that same champion than reforge. And if you've got all 6, it's probably better to just go forge on somebody else for a little while while the cost drops back down to 1,000, and then reforge. You can really only reforge once a week right now, unless you were just swimming in scales, and most people aren't. So you want to get full legendary on a champion, and potentially and ultimately full legendary on your pushing team that you're using in trials. Get them all full legendary, and then worry about trying to get the exact effect you want, because that's going to be a long-term thing. And even then, it's better to invest your time in leveling up all of their legendary effects, bringing them all up, just re-rolling once a week. Meister Wilder, we were thinking lemonids are like a delicious hard candy, and it's lemonids to LA. We're trying to get lemonids popular in Los Angeles. I don't know. Why Noctua fans? Well, it isn't the. I don't know that it's an issue with the fan. I've a water cooled system, but the fans are on triggers for like how much, I'm starting to work like the CPU and the GPU. Yeah. So, man, yeah, pretty good. I feel like there's good fans in there, but I don't know. This system was built for me, but there's a lot of fans on it. I also need to take it out and clean it again. That also helps. It is to the point where after all the construction in the house, it probably needs to be cleaned again. Get the dust out of it. Knock the dust out that computer. Well, tell me when a champion has been reworked and I need to use the recycle. You mean the dismantle mechanic? So there's only ever a rework now for seasons, or for... Now, it used to be seasons. Now it's events 2.0. So the reworked champion right now is Dhadius. It says reworked champion. So Dhadius will have a full dismantle. In April 3rd, will be the next event, and it will have a reworked champion as well. That champion will have a dismantle button. That's how reworks are happening now. So that's how you know which one is going to have that. What legendary effects do I recommend? Oof. So, I mean, I like to have my legendary. I want my legendary power available no matter what group of champions are in my formation. So I'd lean towards reforging into the most generic buffs personally. Other people like to just build like an Artemis formation and then they focus all their buffs onto Artemis. You know, it's really, it depends on what you're trying to do. And you're the only one that's going to know that. But I want all that investment of time and power into generic power so it works for everybody. How to dismantle a legendary? Well, if you were to dismantle, like if I were to come over here and I were to hit the dismantle button, it would remove everything, including legendary effects, turn them into legendary potions. Like, you know, that is something that would happen on this account because I don't have any of those. But there's also something called a legendary dismantle. That's going to happen quarterly, so every 3 months or so. And you can pull legendary effects off of champions, turn them into potions of the same level, and apply them to new champions. They're not. You can't apply them additively. If they already have a level 1 a legendary, and you have a level 1 legendary potion, you can't do anything. But if you have a level 3 legendary potion, you can put the 3 on, and it'll refund you a level 1. Right. So you can swap power around. What happens if you don't dismantle? Nothing. Just goes. You remain mantled. Yes. You just keep moving forward in a mantled state. Yeah. It's entirely up to you how you want to handle that. There isn't really any point in dismantling a champion if you literally just got them. But if you've built them up and you don't like the rework, or you just don't want to use them, or you just want to move their item levels to somebody else or whatever, I mean, yeah, there's lots of reasons to dismantle, but they're all, you know, subjective to each person. Is there anything said yet about how Kent works now? No, we were talking about that earlier because apparently he's tracking this event, but that would be a stealth buff to Kent if that were the case. Yeah, that's... You know what is... I've sent the one message I'm willing to send on a Monday. Monday is usually meetings day for Codename Entertainment. But people have been asking about this, so let's see if I can get a quick response. They were immediately like, I saw the post, but I can't get it to do that. So sounds like a bug. If you're seeing a separate Festival of Fools show up, I would say report it because it sounds like it's not intended. Like submit a ticket. And then maybe they can figure out what's going on. But I mean, there's a separate group for events and time gates for a reason. So I don't think it's supposed to be doing that. It just happens to be doing that. Yeah, I mean, I think it might be interesting if they just add events. I wouldn't want them to add time gates to it, but I think it'd make them real strong. I cannot see the dismantle button on any champion. That's because it's only going to be on Dhadius. The only person that you can dismantle currently is Dhadius, and it would be right here. If you don't see a dismantle button on Dhadius, it's because you went into the shop over here and you bought a Dhadius chest pack with event tokens. That turns off the dismantle. That's basically you saying, I'm fine with Dhadius the way they are. You can buy like it was stuff with cash, but not with in-game tokens. Do I have a meeting today? No. No. When's my next meeting? On a Monday meeting. When's my next Monday meeting? Currently set for May 6th. That's how far ahead we're planned out. Yeah, my next meeting is gonna be May. We're we got plans through May for the tutorial show. And I'm no longer, I don't know if they're just no longer having the other meeting I used to have to go to every other Monday, or if I'm just not invited, which is fine. It was always a short meeting, like 5 to 10 minutes anyway. But obviously I couldn't have it while I was streaming. So I'm just confused by the dismantle thing. Is it like Windows versions? The old one is obsolete? No. They just reworked the champion. They changed their abilities. You don't get a choice in it. They changed the champion, and that's why they give you a dismantle option. You can basically, if you've invested a lot of legendary effects or gilding item levels into a champion, but now you don't want to use them anymore because of their rework, you can pull all that off and put it somewhere else. But if it's just kind of the same for you, it's like, oh yeah, all right, then it's fine. Then you just leave it alone. It's a Kent thing with Festival of Fools. Apparently he's for some people he's tracking a separate token. Kent has a token system that gives him buffs based off things he's completed, and it's not supposed to. It's supposed to just track under the events time gates token, but it's giving a separate token to some people. This is the meeting now. Well, I mean, I was always streaming on Mondays. It's just sometimes I would have to stop about an hour early or so when I have a meeting. Yeah, we can't go back to different versions of champions. That's not a thing. Or everybody would go back to Binwin 1.0. You think Artemis is OP? Binwin 1.0 would blows Artemis out of the water. People would also do Barrowin 1.0 and Crawl 1.0. Yeah. Nobody, I mean, you want the 3 strongest champions in the game. I mean, Binwin would be able to solo the game basically on his own. 1.0 Binwin in the current system with the ability to get infinite item levels. But Barrowin was manual. Like if you liked manual play, she could run you to the end of the game. But then Krull didn't have a cap originally. Like he could just keep getting instances of plagues, and that was bad. That was bad. Yeah, that's why there's a 4 cap now. You have 4 instances, so 40 stacks, but he just used to keep on stacking. It was ridiculous. So there's all kinds of 1.0. Zorbu 1.0 was not good. Zorbu 1.0 was not good. You may be thinking of Zorbu 2.0. Zorbu 2.0 was OP. We're now in Zorbu 3.0. People would go back to Ashara 1.0, back when you only needed 3 stacks to unlock her power. Yeah. Yeah, OG Kroll was just infinite gold on like level 1, effectively. You could build up infinite stacks, and it was ridiculous. Your Kent has 1,300 a token. Well, it's not 1,300 tokens. It's a token that's valued at 1,300. It feeds into one of his abilities. So yeah, yours is bugged, but yeah, it should have just gone into the event's time gates. Like, you should just have an event time gate token that has a high amount. Oh yeah, I don't know. You know, the versions that never made it into the game obviously are impossible, right? What was it about Benwin? So, OG Benwin, hold on. Let's go. Let's do this. Let me see if I can find. So the OG, was it OG Dragon Down? There we go. OG Dragon Down. So here's Benwin. Here's the original Benwin. So he had 2 abilities. This is how simple the game was back then. A champion came with 2 abilities. One was called Extra Attacks. Benwin may perform 1 or more extra attacks while attacking, increasing his cooldown for each bonus attack. And then you had Crash and Smash. Benwin deals double hits to hits-based or armored hits-based enemies. That's it. Those were his abilities. Then he had specializations, reckless attacks. Benwin's normal attacks have a 20% chance of dealing damage to all enemies in AoE, right? And then relentless attacks, the chance for extra attacks to proc is increased by 25%. Now the thing is every time he did another attack, his damage would go up. I didn't kill it the first time. I'm gonna do more damage the next time, and the next time, and the next time. Now, when he would stop attacking, he'd be in this winded state where he was sweating and he wouldn't attack for a very long time. But the thing is he had an item. His slot 4 increased his chance to do extra attacks. And so if you got that up and started raising that infinitely, he would just attack, and then he'd proc another attack. And if it didn't kill the enemy, he'd proc another attack. And then it didn't kill the enemy, and then he'd proc another attack, and the damage would just keep going, and he'd kill everything. He'd just kill everything. But the thing is back then you couldn't get blacksmithing contracts at the level that you get now. You couldn't generate gems at that level, at the level you do now. So the person that did this and broke it and proved that it was broken paid cash in the shop for chests. So many chests. So many chests. So after, and then they posted a video publicly saying, "Oh look, CNE, I broke Benwin." And of course, then they nerfed Benwin into the freaking ground. Unfortunately, they over nerfed Benwin. They could have just capped the item. Even back then, they could have capped the item at a certain level that would have solved the problem. They didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. So, yeah. If I have 80 more to go, what do we get? We got a Dark Urge chest. We can open up the Dark Urge chest. Dreamer luck. Twice in one day. This is ridiculous. I don't get this luck on my main account. I don't get shinies like this out of chests on my main account. And we were on an ad when it happened. There's a lot of people going, what? Why are people posting what? People want an ad. We're like, why are people posting streamer lock? And we come back. Oh, I opened a Dark Urge chest and got another shiny. I just got a shiny on Briv earlier out of a chest, folks. Total streamer luck. I don't get this luck on my main account. I'm a little upset. I'm a little upset because it's on the wrong account. I want it on my main account. So the champion is auto upgrade, right? When they rework it, they just rework it. You don't manually change anything. They do. It's just that if you want to, and they change all the equipment, everything. It's just if you don't like that champion anymore, you can pull everything off and put it somewhere else, onto a different champion. Now, there have been all kinds of OP bugs they've removed in the game, but major, like, you know, original versions of champions that they had to go in and, like, it was real bad. Like Benwin was an early one. Barrowin was an early one. Krull was an early one. Like, they have fixed champions quickly in the past. Which is what makes it all the more confusing when a champion's clearly a problem now, and then they're just like, we'll see what happens. I got a shiny from an Electrum chest today. It was for Delana. Hey, I mean, look, she's been a shiny thief since year one. Trust me, she's very good at stealing shinies off the other champions. I opened up 4K silvers today with 0 shinies. Pi 11, all of that came here apparently. Oh boy. Wait, she's been... yeah, if she's already full shiny and she stole a shiny... Well, if it's... Well, no, yeah, if it's out of Electrums, it should have gone to any other champion. That's definitely a bug. That's a weird bug. I've never seen a shiny... I mean, are you sure it was Electrums? Like silvers, I get duplicate shinies out of silver chests on my account all the time. I just ignore them. But Electrums, it shouldn't. So this, we have completed Tier 1 of Briv and Tier 1 of the Dark Urge. This will complete Tier 1 for Dhadius. This will complete Tier 1 for Dhadius, right? Oh, no. This is just one. We need 2 more. Ah, yeah, I can tell here. Okay, this is one of the 2 we need to complete Tier 1 of Dhadius. And then we're going to have a little bit of time before I have to make a decision over here and spend some time gate pieces. And in that time, we'll hop back into the campaign, the regular campaign. We can get through. I think we might finish this today. We got 75 levels to go. We should get through this one, and then tomorrow's stream will kick off with finishing the other variant, and then we'll go back to regular campaign stuff for the rest of the day. If we get through this, I don't even know if this formation is going to do it. I won't know until we get there. Well, you can't have... That's not how shinies work, Maxi. The shiny goes around the item slot. It's a big hug around your entire item slot. The shiny doesn't care whether your item's white, green, blue, or purple. It's not shining a rarity. It's shining the entire item slot itself. So you can roll. I've seen people open a silver chest. Saw a picture of it. They opened a silver chest and got a white item, their first ever item on a champion, and it was a shiny. Forevermore, that slot is shinied. It got shinied at level 1, the very first item, and it remains shiny for its entire existence. Electrums did get changed, but a shiny shouldn't, and that may be what broke it. But it's still broken because a shiny should still go to a champion that doesn't have a shiny somewhere. But yeah, it's possible that that change broke it, which would be a big problem. Yeah, I mean, it could be that that change broke it. I mean, I don't know. The ticket will. Electrum's got changed. What's new with Electrum? So now, Fatherwind, when you're opening up your Electrum chests, if you're worried about your collection, like here I have 2 empty collection spots for Celeste. Now if I open up Electrum and it rolls into Celeste, like, you know, it could go nowhere else. If Celeste has blue or better gear, then what it would do is it would fill in one of these gaps, these lower level gaps, automatically. So that's the change. But it means everyone else is you know, everybody else would have to be like blue or better, right? And then it'll put duplicates into a gap in the collection, so you can finish your collection out. A change people have desired for quite a while. I mean, once upon a time, like 2 years ago, Pascar would have been like, you make this happen. But Electrums were filling in just over time all of my, automatically filled in all of my old collection slots. Just RNG. It took a while, but it would get done. But now with the collection actually for everyone, makes sense. Makes sense. Because now, if what it's looking at if they put the priority of filling in a collection slot, and that priority maybe somehow falls ahead of whether it's shiny or not, I could see that being the problem, right? Because shiny needs to be in a different priority that goes to non-shiny, and yeah, I don't know. So I don't know where in the like rules list of as it's checking things that the change went. I don't even know if that's what would cause this, but it's speculation, right? It was more like if it rolled a green and look for someone missing a green. Well, I don't know what order they make their decisions. Ultimately, there's a bug going on. It just depends on what order of operations they've layered these decision making steps. I don't actually know. Someone's probably figured out like what it determines first. One of these days, I got to get a hold of those rules, like the decision order for all the chests, like silvers, electrums, and golds, just to see. Yeah, Emote probably knows. You won't find them. I don't think Emote comes to this channel. So somebody posted that the Dark Urges picture creeps them out. I was like, well, then the artist nailed it. The Dark Urge is the person that, you know, whenever someone takes their picture and says smile, they're just like they don't know what a smile is. They're a psychopath. Like, smile to them just means bare your teeth. Okay. Like, does Emote have a Twitch stream? I don't think so. I don't think so. Moat manages the, like, they have a site and they manage the Modron, all the Modron stuff. But I don't like. For me, that just kind of spoils the fun of Modron for me. I want to solve that puzzle, or at least try to. Um, so I don't participate with. I don't use that stuff, but lots of people do. Really got to find time to do a Dark Urge Baldur's Gate 3 run. It's good, and I did one where I leaned wholly into the Urge, but I've been told that the Resisting is a really good storyline as well. So Resisting the Urge is on a list of playthroughs in the future, but I already know my next playthrough, when I find the time, is going to be Carlock. I haven't played through as any. My first Origin character playthrough was the Dark Urge. We themed it as John Wick. It was John Wick in an alternate universe, just leaning into the murdering as a monk. I was a human monk. But yeah, I want to play Carlock. Carlock. First off, is Carlock. Carlock is Bay. Carlock is amazing, but apparently Carlock has a whole internal monologue, and I just can't. I can't wait. Can't wait. I really keep eye contact with Dark Urge when the Egbert, but you keep eye contact with Dark Urge because you're like, you have to, because if you look away, that's when they kill you. Right? Egbert's just awkward. Egbert's just awkward. Yeah, when you lean into the Urge with the Dark Urge, it is a very. I mean, you have to understand. I've heard so many people that started it thinking, "Oh yeah, I know it's going to be disturbing," and then they get like a few hours in, and they're like, "I can't do this. I can't do this. This is too disturbing." There's some stuff that was like, I was like lines that came in. I was like, "Oh, holy! You really went there. You really went there, Larian. Wow." Yeah, I understand. This person is absolutely horrible now. I get it. Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah, he killed John Wick's dog. Oh, yeah, no, but that was the thing, because you can get the dog as the thing. And I was like, every time they kill the dog, I'm going to go kill the person, right? Yeah. But yeah, it's a rough playthrough leaning into the Dark Urge. I leaned everybody into their darkest urges though, like, so it was all the evil and bad choices for everyone. Resist the Urge probably can't play through. Yeah, I feel like it is. I feel like it is. Yeah, and that's why I want to do it at some point, because I want to see that storyline. Next place an all bard group? No, no. I don't even know. I have not even remotely done a bard in Baldur's Gate 3 yet. Like, not even in the party. So I do find it a little disappointing that they didn't have a bard that you could pick up as a companion. They introduce you to a bard, and I loved her character, but yeah. Finally getting progress in your Baldur's Gate 3 first playthrough? Nice. Got to a certain dungeon in Act 2. Is it the squishy one? I mean, you gotta be specific. There's a few dungeons in Act 2. Is it the squishy one? Or is it the dark one? Oh, okay, it's the gauntlet. Okay. I was like, is it the squishy one or is it the pokey one? Oh yeah. It's so funny that you could literally go, is it the squishy one? Um, Yeah, I would love. I mean, I know they're still kind of finishing out like everything about bugs and uh, just being as optimal as optimizing all of the things for as many computers as possible. But I want expansion. I want DLC for Baldur's Gate 3 and expansions. I don't know that they're going to do it though. Like, yeah, I mean, you could start with DLC that adds more races and classes. I feel like that would open up a lot. That would open up a lot more playthroughs. But then, like, storyline expansions. I feel like Carlock's begging for an expansion for like a DLC that has storyline in Avernus. Yeah, Phoenixian. If you can't handle full evil, have other playthroughs that you hop into every now and then, because just as a palate cleanser, um, it definitely locks you out of a lot of things. It is a bit more challenging. I did get to level cap by the time we were you know fully into Act 3, so it didn't limit me too much. But for a while, I was wondering if we were even going to hit level cap. Because there's a lot of content you just don't get to experience because, whoops, they dead. Like, oh, whoopsie. Yeah. Yeah, I know there's a lot of mods for stuff, but I'm a fan of official. I'm a fan of official content. I haven't used any mods for Baldur's Gate 3. Like, there is one mod for Baldur's Gate 3 I would love to see, and I want to be able to play Sordal. Sordal the Bard. Sordal is my original character. Sordal is a permanently animated dancing sword that's a bard. So, if I could play through his Sordal, if somebody could make me that mod, I'd play that one on stream. But yeah, I mean, a game like that begs you to build it from the ground up with player modifications, because that's Dungeons and Dragons, right? Dungeons and Dragons is all about homebrew, so being able to actually go in and have mods supported so that people can create outrageous things makes sense. Especially just to be able to use everyone as a playable character. Sordal go into armories and try to seduce them. Seduce? No. But the I've only gotten to play Sordal once, and it was for Sean's birthday, and we were playing with, like, Mars was there. Who else? I don't remember who else was there. I want to say Lee was there. Somebody else. And at the very beginning of the story, we're all in jail. It was that kind of beginning. And and they found Sordal wrapped up in a burlap sack. Like, they just thought, uncovered. And then I'm like, hello, thank you for letting me out. And they were like, what the hell just happened? And then the first thing is, hey, we need you to go to a job. Go across the street and get geared up. And Sordal floats into this place and is all like, wait, we're going what? Wait, you what? Like, Sordal is very much leaning into the revolution. Like, I was upset, and they're like, "Why are you upset?" And I was like, Well, if I let you out of jail and you said, hey, let's go to the shop where you can buy humans and use them as weapons, wouldn't you be upset? Sortle was, I leaned into that Sortle. There's different versions of Sortle that I'll play, that I want to play, but I was leaning into that Sortle, the revolution, like, it's time to free all the weapons. So Sortle went into the weapon shop and was like, and floating around was like, anybody else here? Anybody else here sentient? Anybody else here? Anybody else here talk? And so Sean turned it into Toy Story, where all weapons talk, just not in front of people. And so I started having conversations with weapons throughout the game. Like, that was how we flavored misses. Like, if someone would go to attack me, and I'd be like, dude, brother, why are you trying to hit me? And it would pull the other person's weapon off to the side to dodge me. So, because the weapon would turn away. It was a good time. It was a good time. Yeah, I mean, if you could play as a permanently animated dancing sword, why wouldn't you, right? Why wouldn't you? That's the fun of D&D. I built them out, Phoenician Ultimatum, as a Warforged, because it just made sense. Like, they're a sword. They're forged for war, right? But, yeah. So technically they're a Warforged bard, but, yeah. One day I will get to play Sortle again. How can a new party get time gate pieces pre-mert? You just have to play the game. You get one every 5 days. Like, once you've looted one, I just got one a minute ago. I'm up to 15 pieces now. Wild. Every 5 days, your timer, once you loot one, there's a 5-day timer, and then it's lootable again. It's only lootable off of bosses. It's a small chance, but every time you kill a boss, the chance goes up until you're guaranteed to get it. So that's why we say one every 5 to 6 days. So before you unlock Mert, that's how you get it. Just gotta wait. Also, once you get to Tomb of Annihilation, if you max out your last global blessing, it gives you a second one. So when that boss does drop one, they actually drop two. So then, once every 5 days, you'll get two. I'm not there yet. What happens if someone grabs Sortle by the shaft? I mean, what happens if someone grabs you by your shaft? It's probably not going to go well. Well, not without consent. Not without consent. Technically, you can. I mean, there was a point in the campaign, or not campaign, in the one shot that we were doing, where there were patrolling guards, and I was like, "You all head over there. I got this. Just when they bend over, attack." And they were like, "What?" And then I just moved into the middle of the walkway, and then laid down. And so when the guards walked up, they're just like, "Oh, there's a scimitar here. What the hell?" And like bent over to pick it up, and then everybody attacked, and so did I. Just slapped right in the face. So it's great for that setting up an ambush. Yeah. Technically, somebody could grab, like, with consent, someone could grab me and use me as a weapon. And then they could let me go, and then I could take my movement after that, right? Like, technically, I could take a short rest while someone, like, attaches me to their belt. I could take a long rest while they're traveling, and then be back on my game. Like, it opens up a whole lot of options when you're a floating sword. Favorite games slow down a lot. I mean, Kramus, do you have Azaka yet? Because Azaka can help you potentially earn a little bit more. Not a whole lot early on, but Otherwise, you're just going to have to try to like build a better formation or use some of these event champions if they're getting good gear. See if they help you. Cast magic weapon. I mean, I kind of was a magic weapon. I don't know that you had to cast it on me. Lore-wise, Swordle was a sword that was forged in the Feywild by a dwarf and an elf working together. Which, if you know me, that's I'm sorry, what? But it was a dwarf and an elf working together. Like a Fey elf. So what do they call this again? Eladrin. So it looks very swoopy, scimitar-y, fancy, but it's got dwarven runes in it that focus the magic. And it was, enchanted to be permanently animated, sentient / sapient, a dancing sword, so floating around and doing its attack, and brought to life forever. So it's not really like you can't dispel it. You can't dispel Swordle. They just are a living thing now. And forever is a long time. Yeah, that's a problem Swordle has not had to deal with yet. That's a problem Swordle has not had to deal with yet. Yeah. Swordle's, I don't even know that I figured out an age for Swordle. I feel like Swordle's still fairly young in animated dancing sword years. Yeah, Eternity's just a drop of time. Yeah, there's some given enough time. There's Strahd problems, right? Oh no, we found a gap in the pause. That was weird. There's a little glitch in the Matrix here, folks. How many familiars do I have on my new account? The 3 that you see here. That's it. Yeah, the heat death of the universe is a problem for tomorrow. There must have been some magic in that old anvil they found. For when they hammered on the blade, it began to dance around. Swordle the Bard. Oh no, True One had a. Oh no, it works too well. Oh no, Swordle the Bard to the tune of Frosty the Snowman. Oh shit. I might have to. I know it writes itself. That might have to be something I sit down and try to work on. That would be hilarious. Oh, E16 favor is pretty good, but yeah, you're gonna need, E20 something to get that final blessing. Just like Frosty, there's a small risk of melting. I don't even know. Like, it's usually magical weapons don't melt, but there's got to be a level at which, at some point, where the heat just ignores the magic. Right? But usually they show magical weapons as just not decaying or eroding or anything. Sounds like Swordle and Frosty have the same childlike innocence. No, probably not. Swordle can play that because they remember acting that way at first, but now, so like I said, Swordle's at least in that game was into the revolutionary phase, so still fairly young, right? Wants to start a revolution. Hasn't been disappointed enough with the world yet to stop. Still thinks there's a chance. Disintegration, does that still destroy magic items? I don't know, maybe. There's a version of, I think, like if I were to play version of Sortle on a stream, it would depend on how Sortle was to get introduced to people. There's a more mature version of Sortle. You know, it just depends on what level the campaign or the one shot or a campaign. Sortle in a campaign would be ridiculous. Sortle in a campaign would be ridiculous. You know, there's something there. There'd be a lot of fun there. Well, that's the thing about something to negate the magic. Like, the magic of life is negated through death, but how do you kill a magical sword, right? It's not, you can't just dispel the magic. It already triggered an effect. The sword is alive. And I don't know that like anti-magic field at that point, again, you've already, the magic was imbuing it with life in the first place, and then that life is just there. Yeah, I don't know. That's a whole conversation you have to have with the dungeon master of wherever you're trying to play that with. Because you don't just turn off life, except in killing something, right? So maybe, you knock Sortle out, fail 3 death saves, maybe the magic flickers out and it becomes unenchanted, and at that point you could destroy the item. Oh. Sortle at all inspired by a certain weapon in Journey Quest? No, I don't even know. No, I don't even know why. Oh, Sortle was inspired entirely by Bardic Inspiration. When we were doing Jarlaxle's song, there's a line that got created in Jarlaxle's Secret Lord of Luskan that says, "In his side, your sword'll be thrust in." So sword apostrophe LL, just shortened sword will be thrust in. But for the cadence, it was your sword'll be thrust in. And in that episode, in chat, I was like, that's it. The Bardic Inspiration mascot is now Sortle the Bard. It's a sword. It's like a Clippy. Sortle is Clippy. Sortle is Microsoft Clippy. Ultimately, hi. It looks like that's another way that you really play Sortle is. Hi. It looks like you need a buff today, or hi. It looks like you're about to get into a fight. Would you like some help? Like that's very much a way you can play Sortle. So that it came straight out of Bardic Inspiration. And I pushed forever for them to make like a Sortle emote or a Sortle familiar, and they didn't. So I just made Sortle an actual character and played it in a game. Is Dhani a good DPS to focus on? I mean, they're okay. They're better now after their rework, but I don't know that they're like I don't know that there's somebody anybody would call top tier. So I mean, you can use them and until you can't. They're a good DPS to have in your roster when you need one, but I don't know that they're like, they're not mega OP or anything. So you must cast Sortle back into the Forges of Moria where they were created. Wait. But yeah, there's definitely Sortle can channel, and as a bard, their thing is, I mean, they sing poorly. Their thing is really acting. Like they can channel different, like I'm gonna be this character today, or in this situation, and that's more of their thing. Because they don't have a body like all these humanoids do. It's all in the things they're saying and the way they're behaving that portrays their personalities. So they lean into that in different situations, different ways in different situations. So a more mature Sortle has developed more of those and can do stuff. Whereas the younger Sortle, the lower level Sortle, is very, very clippy. Like if it would level 1 Sortle would be clippy. It would basically just be clippy. Hi, it looks like you're about to get into a fight. Would you like some help? Like that would be level 1 Sortle. But, you get like in the 3 to 5 and Sortle is like, when the revolution comes, I'm going to be right at the front stabbing you in the neck. Like, free my people. But then after that, they settle down, They're not quite so rampantly aggressive. What's Briv's strongest specialization? Oh, what situation are we talking about? In a gem farm or for speed, it's their left specialization, right? The one that uses fewer stacks. If you have plenty of healing, like if you have Mert's perk up feat and some other source of boosted healing in your formation already, then you can go middle specialization and just get a double boost on Steelbone stacks. But if you don't have enough health to get you over to 100% every time he ticks his heal, like all of his health back, then you would go the right hand spec. I tend to default right hand spec, so I don't have to worry about who's in my formation. But yeah, it just kind of depends on the situation. Generally just saying like default right hand spec tends to work in most places, and then if you ever in a situation where the healing without it goes over 100%, then you can always use a potion of specialization, put him in the middle if you need a little more damage. I want a campaign with Sortle starting as Clippy, like right now. I mean, so do I. I would love to play Sortle in a campaign. Like I said, that's a commitment. That's a commitment on the DM's part to be like, okay, like you've really gotta like all the different situations. Like one of the things that was difficult is how do you roll a stealth check for a dancing sword? You're not going to hear footsteps. They're not rustling around in the grass or they're stepping on a leaf. So if I fail a stealth check, it's got to just be that sort of like got caught up, like has a little bit of ADHD. And like a tune started going through their head, and then they're just like, like just start singing to themselves, not even thinking about it. Like that's how you'd have to theme stuff like that. So you got to figure that out. There's a lot of work beforehand, like figuring out how does Sortle work in the whole D&D rules thing, because yeah, especially that whole how does Sortle die? What can get rid of them? And then when Sortle retires, he'll sit on a stone somewhere. In 1,000 years, some snot-nosed kid will come along, pick Sortle up, and play himself king of the realm. That's actually one of the ways that I came up with. I was like, how would you introduce Sortle to like as a guest in a campaign? And actually, one of the ways is that he's stuck in a tree. And they can't pull themselves out. They don't have any leverage. And so somebody's got to pull him out. That's, yeah. Not in a stone, but in a tree. The Sortle's he, they. Yeah, Sortle's he, they. Sortle can shapeshift, because Bard, right? Sortle polymorphed into T-Rex during the boss fight. Twice. So eventually a more mature Sortle realizes at some point, oh, I can just polymorph into a humanoid, huh? And so, a more mature Sortle can actually, and generally chooses a more masculine presenting form to polymorph in. Yeah. Yeah, singing a little sneaking song. I'm sneaking along, nobody's gonna hear me. I'm sneaking along, floating through the air, 'cause I'm me. Yeah. And then somebody hears it, right? Well, crap. T is in the letter, as in the letter stands for twice. Twice Rex, yeah. I mean, look, we were fighting the big bad, and the big bad went from uh, the big bad was just a spellcaster, and Sword was like, "Oh no, we don't want to deal with this. Like, my friends are gonna die." So Sword turned into a T-Rex and then bit them, like, cause what's the best thing to do in that situation? Bite the caster, right? And then the caster turned out not to be a humanoid. The caster turned out to be a dragon that was just in a humanoid form. And Sortle learned that, oh, you can bite off more than you can chew sometimes. And then the dragon killed Sortle. Well, it killed the T-Rex. Sortle went back to his sword and was like, nope, can't stay as a sword in this fight. Back into a T-Rex. Because of course. Sort of polymorphing into Wolverine. Well, at least a Wolverine. I don't know the Wolverine. All right, we got 8 more areas, folks. It looks like our damage is fine. We're at a E35 hit, and the health here is E31. So this formation does work. This is full core champions. At least for tier 1. That's all I'm really worried about. Yeah, Sortle could also reflect light on an enemy, or Sortle could not be paying attention and like accidentally bump into something that's sticking out like a branch, and that you know, if you're going through the forest and that triggers something, you know, because they don't got eyes. I mean, they see, but maybe in the dark. That's not the greatest. I mean, I don't think they have night vision, like dark vision. I don't think Warforged have dark vision. So yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of ways you could fail the stealth check, but because Sortle's a bard, I feel like you're just humming a tune. I don't spend a lot of time around humans. Not always. Humans get weirded out by them for some reason. They don't understand, so, you know. And it's spelled like this. Sortle. Somewhere to up the urge? Oh, like you just want to kill a lot of stuff? Mort Stella. There are variants in the game that I refer to as Chumbawamba variants. That's like Relentless Peril and Avernus, Twilight Twist and Waterdeep. Relentless Geist, I think, is in Barovia, where basically when you kill the enemies, they fall down and then they get right back up again after a few seconds. Those are the best places. You just sit on one area with a tank, and then the person that wants to do the killing, and then every time you hit them and they fall down, and then like you can have up to 100 enemies on the screen, and then they get up, and then you just do it again. And once you get that going, the speed potions, and you can start stacking you get lots of stacks, lots of murder stacks. If you don't have anything like that, then you need to go to a place like Mad Wizard on one of the levels with a spawner where the enemies just come streaming out of something that's in the middle of the screen. That's the fastest way to introduce enemies to the game. Killing a lot there would do it. There's other champions that can help you, like Melf and Tatiana, that generate enemies on something like that, on a Mad Wizard type level. Yeah. But like on this account, he doesn't have a lot of stacks. I don't know. I haven't leveled them up. Hold on. What's your stacks at? I got 3,100. Yeah. And he's done really well anytime I've used him, so it's not like and that's just from playing him. Does Sortle have access to Mage Hand or Bigsby's Hand? Sortle has Mage Hand, and the way that I use Mage Hand is that Mage Hand doesn't wield Sortle, but Sortle has a small bag of holding that's with a leather strap that's tied around, like looped in and around the crossbar of the sword, that Sortle keeps all their stuff in. And the Mage Hand, again, gift from mommy and daddy, can actually go in and get stuff out of the bag of holding for Sortle and open doors and things for Sortle, and it's just kind of, it's always there because mage hands are invisible. It's just always around. It just doesn't normally interact with the world, only if Sortle needs something. Sortle can wield themselves. Yeah. But I was like, I gotta have some kind of inventory, and I gotta have a way to interact with it. So we gotta, like, create a backstory. That it can do this stuff, but not other things. It's not like it's a mage hand that just helps Sortle. It's basically a like, if you think about it, like a disability aid. Sortle doesn't have arms. Sortle needs somebody to open the door, and the mage hand does that. And interacts with the bag, and that's it. That's it. Puts stuff in and out of the bag. And opens doors. But can't pick locks. They're not, unless I go into rogue. The mage hand does not pick locks. Yeah, make sure if you're going to stack up the Dark Urge, you go right hand spec. That stacks it up 3 times as fast. No, on the Chumbawamba ones, you don't want to tank like Tatiana. I mean, it might help you set up your stack initially, but then there's no point after that. You want a tank like Briv that's just going to self-sustain. Somebody that can self-sustain so they don't die if they do get hit. But you also don't want them killing a lot of stuff. So you got to find just kind of the right tank. Yeah, there's a lot of champions that would speed up and help out with us, like if you're on a Mad Wizard spawner. But again, the best place to do it is one of those up, down, up, down, up, down. They get knocked down and they get up again. Sorrel's quest for Gale's hand. Oh no. Pile of, and I've heard that, and I've told people submit a ticket. Something's going on there. And now I just remembered. Hold on, let me get... I've got Sortle sheet here. Do I have it in a shareable thing? I don't think it's shareable. Well, let me find Sortle. Okay, so when I played Sortle, they were level 11. They were level 11. So what exactly did they have? Armor class 13. Initiative plus 4. 30-foot floating speed. Let's see. What did we have? Let me check my spell list. Blade Ward. Dancing Lights, Mage Hand, again, the special flavored Mage Hand, Vicious Mockery, because of course, as my cantrips. First level, Bane, Cure Wounds for all those people, Fairy Fire, Healing Word, Silvery Barbs. Level 2 was Knock, because I gotta get in. Let me in. Mirror Image, because the idea of a bunch of floating swords coming at you just sounded fantastic. Silence, because I'm singing, so shut it. Warding Wind, and the third level was Aura Vitality, Dispel Magic, Mass Healing Word, Motivational Speech. Fourth was Polymorph and Ralothim's Psychic Lance. Fifth was Banishing Smite. Sixth was Otto's Irresistible Dance. Otto's Irresistible Dance. And the only item that they owned was a Bag of Holding, really, because what else did you need? What else did you need? Mommy and Daddy sent them out into the world with a Bag of Holding and a Mage Hand that could work with it. But it was up to them to get stuff. They don't need to eat. So it's not like they got to keep food in there or anything. Yeah, all right. Yeah, that was everything. I don't know that there was anything else special. Dueling fighting style. I picked up through Xanathar's Guide to Everything. Because it's when wield a melee weapon. Well, I am the melee weapon, and I'm wielding myself. And no other weapons. Well, I got no harms to hold any other weapons. You get a +2 bonus to damage. Okay. Blade Flourish, of course. What else? Yeah, integrated protection, Sentry's Rest. Because you just got to spend 6 hours in an inactive, motionless state. You don't sleep. But you see and hear everything is normal. Constructed resilience, so advantage against poison and resistance to poison. Because I'm a sword. You don't need to eat, drink, or breathe. You're immune to disease. You don't need to sleep, and magic can't put you to sleep. Yeah, Warcaster, obviously. Awakened weapon, feature by popular demand. So we can do performances and stuff. Yeah, that was it. 80 max health. 80 max health. Hey, we finished Light in the Dark. All right. Okay. So we got Light in the Dark done, and that'll be it for today. So tomorrow, when we come back, we'll do Wise and